trying to make it all make sense.
The
More.
You
No.
Podcast.
Dude,
What
I
do
have a,
you
what are you gonna say?
what do you mean? What do you like personally define like life is happening for you, not to you? You say that a lot, and I think I know what it means. But like, well, how would you describe that?
So what I mean by that is no matter if it's a good experience or a bad experience, whether you're successful with something or whether it's a failure, it's all benefiting you in the long run. And so like a lot of people think like, so I'll use Natalie for an example, our breakup for an example. Yeah. Like I was devastated and defeated by that. And the common mentality surrounding that situation is like, why did this happen to me? Like, I didn't deserve this. Like, this shouldn't have happened to me. Like, why did this happen to me? Rather than this is happening for me. So this might not be what I wanted from my perspective at this point. This isn't ideal or what I was envisioning was going to happen in my life. But just like any sort of achievement or positive experience or outcome, it's providing me just as much value and just as much benefit, because at the end of the day, everything combines to be happening for you in this way that if you have the proper perspective and awareness surrounding it, it's going to empower you and make you a better person, and you're going through the process of improvement. It's the difference of looking at something with a victim mentality and rather looking at it as more so in this predetermined way where no matter what happens, if you're choosing to be present with gaining awareness surrounding it, as well as doing your best at all times to be the best you can and go through the process of improving yourself, that no matter what happens, it's all going to work itself out in the end.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's where I kind of figured you were going with it. But I know you've said that multiple times. So I was like, okay, what do you fully mean by that?
Yeah, that's Ed Milet's whole thing. And that has honestly been the one phrase that since Joe Rogan, I heard Joe Rogan talk about living your life like the hero of your own movie. It's the most significant that I've heard since then. And he says it over and over and over and over again. And it's like you hear anybody who's on his podcast, on other people's podcasts, and they'll start to mention it because it's such an empowering concept. Because it's like, oh, this didn't go my way. Well, that's a part of life. It happened to you for a reason. Let's gain some awareness surrounding it and some perspective surrounding it. Let's take a positive outlook going forward. And let's do what's necessary by putting in the time and effort with the proper awareness and perspective to get a better result in the future, but also understand that nothing's perfect. Nothing's going to be 100% going your way. So it's really just as beneficial as anything else. Yeah.
So you know how, like, let's say you talked about your breakup, that's like something that is out of your control because that's essentially Natalie decided that. It's like, yo, we're kind of done here. What about like action you yourself didn't take and you reflect back on it? It's like, man, I fucked up here. I fucked up here. I fucked up here.
Correct.
And you can't really go back and change it.
Well, that's where it's also happening for you for a reason. And that's what I was going to say too. I was going to correct you on that is like at first I was definitely looking at that as like a life is happening to me type deal. Whereas like, and that's because of the situation too, like more so than not, it was her type of decision and it was her decision at the end of the day. And it was more so her feelings towards our relationship on why we broke up than mine. Like I wasn't making too many mistakes, but everybody is equally accountable in a relationship. Like things like it might not be, you aren't equally equatable, but everybody's got responsibility in a relationship. So looking at it in a life is happening for you approach is like, okay, I'm taking a certain amount of responsibility because no matter what, it takes two people to tango and I was involved. So what did I do that caused issues and what could I do to improve? And so then from there, you think about things that were in the past, and this is over a series of months and probably series of years with a lot of different things. But you think like, oh, I could have done this better. Like, oh, our relationship was dysfunctional in this way. Like, oh, like the things that you were talking about where it's like, I should have done this in the past. I shouldn't have done this in the past. I messed up here in the past. All of those things, they now happen to you for a reason. They're happening for you because you're now gaining insight surrounding it. It's not time wasted. At one point, I thought Natalie and I were just time wasted and she screwed me and it was all just happening to me. But in reality, there was mistakes that I was making, and there's certain things surrounding being in a relationship and being the best possible boyfriend and doing my best part in a relationship as possible that I was just unaware of. And there's mistakes that I made that I now won't make in the future. So in reality, it's happening for me because it happened. I went through the relationship. We broke up. I went through the heartbreak and the depression. It led me to thinking about it. And now because I've thought about it, I've gained better understanding surrounding it. And then from there, when I have a relationship in the future, I'm not going to make those same mistakes. And I'm going to be a better person. And therefore, I'm going to have a better relationship. I hope this talk makes a positive impact in your life. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you are listening or watching it. Check out other episodes, leave a review, and follow us on social media at More You Know Pod. Also, please don't forget about our sweepstakes. Retweet a clip with the hashtag The More You Know and New Podcast from our Twitter for a chance to win a signed copy of my upcoming book, The More You Know, coming this fall. Tag 2 friends in the comments on a clip on Instagram for a chance to win a brand new copy of Dean Graziosi's Millionaire Mindset or Ed Milet's Max Out. Like us or share a clip on Facebook for a chance to win a book I have read that highly inspired me, signed by me with an inspirational message. Again, thank you for listening as we propel with podcasting through the more you know.
I'm just trying to make it all make sense.
The More You Know Podcast.